Hello, you're doing? Hi guys. Yeah, hello. My people, yeah, hello. How you doing? Hi everybody. How you doing? Welcome to Let's Talk with Miss Fee. My name is Felicia. I am your host. I'm excited to be here. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Hey guys, I know I've been gone. I've been MIA in and out. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Tonight we're gonna have a 1 hour show because I got stuff to do tonight. I got a paper I gotta submit, y'all. Schedule is crazy, but we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Let me share the let me share the link on here. Let me share the link. The link. The link. The link. How was you guys doing? How was your week? One person's watching. Who's watching? Shout out. Write something in the comment section, y'all. I can. You know what I just figured out? I can show your comment on my live. Like, you know how when people are live, you can show the comment on this end and also see it on the other end. I can actually do that. So I learned that towards the end of last show. So let's get started. Let's get started. We gotta see if we're live. Yeah, welcome, welcome. Who's watching? My people, yeah, hello. People, yeah, hello. We gotta see if we're live. Oh my god. So I pinned the link already. The link is in the comment section. I know all of y'all outside. Y'all busy outside. But we're gonna jump into this topic really quickly so that way we can get it started. I want to shout out my sister. Congratulations once more on your degree, earn master's degree. Ooh, 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 ooh. Another one under your belt. Shout out to you. Happy, happy, happy graduation. Happy graduating class of 2025. Y'all are a lot. Jeez. There's so many people graduating. It is. This by far has to be the biggest graduating year I have ever experienced. It's so many people graduating. You guys, disclaimer. So next week, I am not going to be here. Let me repeat. Next week, Saturday, I would not be here. I will be super, super, my schedule will be super tight up. There's no way I can be on here next week. So y'all just gotta bear with me for this next few months until we go back to our regular showing time. But I will not be available next week. Next week I got something very important to do. So I will not be here. Again, if you know anybody in Liberia that can host this show for me when I'm not here, please tell them to reach out. I need somebody younger that understand about the media world and is ready to work. So there will be the promoter, there will be everything. Yes, they'll get paid because that's the $1 million question, right? Yes, they will get paid. Wait. What? Sorry. I need to focus. I need to focus and focus and focus and focus on what I'm doing. I just got I just got a message that just like literally shocked me. All right, let's get to it. I need to focus on y'all. How have you guys been? Happy weekend. If you're graduating today, I want to say congratulations. If you already graduated, congratulations. If you're on your way to graduating, congratulations. You're getting there, right? It's all about celebrating. This year, literally, you can call 2025 a celebratory year because so many people are accomplishing so much, and it's so exciting to see that. Super, super, super exciting. You guys, I want to share something funny with you. So somebody saw me. I was wearing one of the I guess when I got super heavy with my daughter pregnancy, at that time I had purchased this dress and I'm like, I refuse to not wear my dress just because the child is big now. So I wore the dress and went to work. And somebody was like, "Oh, congratulations. This is all regular fat. I am not pregnant. Okay. Let's get this straight." I was like, "No, I'm not pregnant. I'm okay. I'm just in my era and I'm working on my weight." So, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. But I thought that was funny. That had to be like the funniest way to tell somebody that they're pregnant without saying they're pregnant, without asking they're pregnant, but saying it. Can you imagine that? I thought that was so funny. That was just so funny. I thought I shared that with you. It's been a while since we've talked about what is something amazing someone's done for you this past week? What is something amazing you've done for someone? What is something amazing somebody's done for you? It's still the same, you guys. It's just my schedule. It's super, super tight right now. And I'm trying to navigate that. Again, if you know anybody in Liberia who knows the social media life and all of that and how it works, if they're able to be um, if they're able to post when I'm not here, that would be super, super great. You can, of course, I'll pay for that data. Of course, they'll get paid and stuff like that. I'm very serious about this podcast, but my schedule is being super, super tight right now. So I would like a backup person that will be able to run this show when I cannot be here. Like next week, all day next week, I cannot be on here, but I will try my best for Sunday. Saturday, definitely, I will not be available and I won't be on here. If I can get anybody who can host the show, that would be great. If not, that's okay, you guys. Y'all just gotta bear with me for the next few months and then we'll be right back on track. Okay? We will be back on track. Back on track. Tonight we're talking about if you've never heard about this, then this is newsflash to you. I have heard about this in a different sense, but it was very intriguing to talk about when I watched the video the other day. I think it's a viral video where somebody's saying if you have a woman who cannot reciprocate, or they were discussing something about. I'm so sorry, I could not even save that video because I was so busy in the middle, and I came in the middle of that video and watched it. I had no time to download it, but I'm gonna try to see if I can bring it. But yeah, it is very, very, very crucial for us to understand this concept. I don't know if this concept is even a thing or another thing. Um, but yeah, let's see. Let's see. But tonight we're talking about the concept of women being wired to reciprocate. Is it a myth? Is it mythical or is it factual? Let's discuss the concept, compare and contrast both traditional and modern women, right? From a modern woman standpoint, right? From a traditional woman. So let's discuss this. I'm really interested in knowing what you guys think. Tonight is just gonna be me, like how the show was intended to be, I guess. It would just be me. And then probably starting next week, we'll shift gear a little bit and try to talk about things that are more educational since I'm basically bringing topics to you guys alone. So we'll try to re try to revamp this topics, into a more let's say I'll figure it out. I'll figure something out. I'll figure something out. But yeah, let's dive into this topic tonight. If you are here and you're watching, welcome. Fifi is still here. Fifi is live. I am here, excited. You guys, for some reason, I'm not feeling this new backdrop. I might change it again. I'm not feeling the new backdrop. I love my city's backdrop because it makes me feel like, makes me feel bougie. It makes me feel bougie. So let's talk about this conversation. Hmm. So yeah, I gotta share the show a little bit. You guys, I am being distracted right now. I don't know what to do. I'm being distracted right now. But let's stay focused. It is 9 o'clock. We're gonna try to end for 10 o'clock to be out of here. At 10 o'clock, I have to work on a paper, so I need to be out of here by 10 p.m. Okay, so let's get started. Can you guys hear me though? Like, my audio. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, see me? All right, enough of my. No, 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 no. So, I want to say Happy Father's Day to all the daddies and fathers. Every day you guys should be celebrated. In my opinion. Did I not say that? I just did that whole thing and not saved it. Oh my god. Check it. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry guys. I did a whole thing and I did not save it. I was wondering why I haven't seen. Y'all hold on. I beg you. Hey. Hmm. We're about to get started, y'all. We are about to get started. So tomorrow there's a topic I want us to talk about. It's gonna be very, I don't think it's PG, but I'm gonna try to make it PG. I don't think that topic is PG. but we would try our best. Yes. Okay, my people then. Yeah, sorry. All right. So tonight we're talking about women being wired to reciprocate. Does that, like, just in anything, like, are we wired to multiply? Are we wired to multiply? Like, is that what our sole purpose is? All right. So let's jump into it. Said, so I'm trying to understand from my standpoint, is that something that society just came up with and say, no, women are to be whatever you gave them, they're supposed to multiply it? Or is this concept coming from where women bear children? Is that based off of it? Is that where this notion is coming from that women are meant to reciprocate or multiply whatever is given to them? If you give them one, they're supposed to give you two back. Or is that something that's just part of their human nature? And now it is a responsibility that is being left on all women. Are all women built to reciprocate? Oh, I just some of them do. Is it a genetic thing? Now, we probably could get into a lot of research on this, but I don't want to. I really want it to be, you know how the newspaper have commentary and they have like what is it called? They have the opinion section. I'm just curious. The concept of women being wired to reciprocate, is it a myth? You guys type it right there. Is it mythical or is it factual? That's what I'm trying to understand, you know. And then if it is, let's compare and contrast both traditional women and modern women. Are modern women being built differently than the typical woman, which is the traditional woman, where they built different? So I want us to kind of look at that. Um, so you guys, I did a little digging. It's not an extensive research, but I did a little. And this is what I can tell you, right? To get started, welcome to Let's Talk with Miss V. My name is Felicia. I am your host. If you're new here, welcome to the family. I know I'm in, I'm out, I'm not too active right now because of my schedule, but I am here, I'm watching, I'm seeing. It's just sometimes I don't have the time to do things right away, but we'll probably get back to that in the next few months or so, in the next month or so. Again, we were not next week. We're not going to be able to have the Bible trivia. I was thinking about switching it on, doing it another day, but then I was like, maybe not. So I don't want to push it. I want to be here when I do it because right after I do it, I got to go to my sandwich and do it. And if I'm not here, can't really do that. It doesn't make sense. So we'll do it. I'll come up with something for the months that we. But if you're still sticking along with us, you're still watching us, stick around. Stick around. Just stick around. It don't cost a thing with you following me. It's just you just click a button. You don't gotta go. Just stay here. Stay here. Stay here. Secondly, if you're new here, welcome. Most of my content here is about, thought provoking topics that happen. Things that happen to you on a daily basis. But you're like, if I talk about that, would it be controversial? Yeah. We talk about family life. We talk about everything that is affecting us. And my goal is, it's like young adults, Liberian, is to share some positivity on the internet and share a little different side of Liberian women than they're being seen in the light right now on social media. That's my goal, is to stay positive and not let everybody see us as whatever it is being portrayed on the internet. Like, right, I remember somebody to a conference, somebody met me. It was like, oh, I would have never thought you're Liberian. I felt insulted. Okay. But again, point taken, I cannot get mad with that person because of what they're used to seeing. But, anyways, if you're new here, my goal is to make sure that we share some positivity and that we stay positive. And welcome, welcome, welcome. There's always a seat here at the table for you as well. And if you will like to join us, the link is in the comment section. It's pinned there. You're more than welcome to join us. Um, Dennis says he can't join because he's a little busy. It's okay. It happens. I know how the schedule is lately. Everything is just over crossing each other. Everything is kind of like I barely have time to make it here, but it's okay. Shout out to you, Dennis. You can watch it later on. If you have anything you want to put in the comment section, even if I'm not live, add it in. I go back and watch this, and I go back and read the comment, so that way we can all learn from it. Even if you can't come on here right now, later on you can listen to it, or based on the topic, you can put some information in the comment section as well. Okay. But I was supposed to share this show. You guys, my phone is popping. I don't know. I'm getting all of these messages. It's crazy. It's crazy. Thank you. So tonight we're talking about women being built, or is it factual? Is it a fact? Is it a giving scientific fact that women are to multiply whatever is given to them? Is a scientific fact that women should reciprocate whatever you're giving to them. Like, we're automatically supposed to, uh, here is multifolds of what you gave me. Here is you give me one, I'm gonna give you two, give me three. Is it all women that are built that way? Or is it some women that are supposed to be built that way? Is it a genetic thing? Is it, this really, I saw somebody talking about this and this really got my mind like really thinking because I have met few women that I would say they do not reciprocate. And I'm not a man, I don't date men, but just observing from an observation standpoint and the way they carry their lives and things that are going on, you could be like, hmm, I don't know about you. You'll make that person broke. So, but anyways, let's not focus on that. I want us to look at the concept of women being wired, which means are they created? Are they made to always multiply what is given to them? Is it all women? And then I wanted us to go after you think about that and answer it from your own thought process. Do you think there is a thin line or a thick line between modern women and traditional women, how they're wired? Do you think that? He said it's genetics. Okay, it's genetics. All right, all right. He said it has to be genetics. So Dennis already said it has to be genetic. Let's look at, I actually wanted to share the show a little bit. But we're going to be out of here at 10 o'clock. I have to be out of here at 10 o'clock, you guys. Because I have a paper to submit. So I need to be out of here at 10, 10, 10. But he said, yes, absolutely. It is genetics and it has to be genetic, Dennis? Is that what you're saying? Dennis, it is genetic. Not everybody's built that way. I agree. I agree to a certain degree. Um, some women are not built to multiply. That's for sure. That is for sure. Some women are built to be, I hate to say that word and I'm not going to say, I was going to say reckless. Reckless. Some women are built to be, to just fool around and just have nothing, not multiply nothing, but live for the day. And that's it. And that's okay. That's okay for you. If that works for you, that's okay. But let's go to the topic for tonight. Sam. The idea that women are wired to reciprocate is a complex concept with both physiological and sociological dimension. So it's a so going back to Dennis saying is genetic. I sigh along with that. I kind of agree with that. But let's see what researchers are saying. They're saying the idea that women, hold on, is it myth or factual? Why not simple either or researchers suggested that res- reciprocity and particularly within social relationships is fundamental aspect of human behavior and women in certain contexts exhibit higher levels of reciprocal behaviors. So studies do show that women do reciprocate. We have higher level. Not that men is not supposed to reciprocate. Men is supposed to. We are all wired to reciprocate, but women have a higher spectrums of that. That's interesting. That is interesting. That is so interesting. So over here, we're looking at the psychological standpoint, and we're looking at the physiological. So you're probably wondering, what is a physiological perspective, right? Uh, Physiological perspectives is a study. It's studies that have shown that women tend to exhibit higher level. Oh no no no! Let me give you the definition. Okay, what is physiological perspective? We're gonna look at that. Let me give you that perspective, the definition. So we're gonna define what physiological perspective is, what it means. Okay. A, physio- a physiological perspective is a theoretical framework that guides how someone interprets human behavior. So those who look at your physio, they pay attention to human behavior. So I just want to also get that background of that and what that consists of in order for us to look at um, the other side of this topic. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So different perspective emphasizes on different aspects of behavior. So it's not like a cookie cutter. It's not a one answer directly. It's just this is what I see, and then it's based on different parts. So it's a little piece of little things put together. Like let's just say how I drink water. If that's something someone's trying to a physiological major person would be looking at, they want to see how do I pick up the cup, what time of the day I'm drinking the water, how is the water going, how do I like the water, like how do I structure myself to prepare to drink the water. So that's just a little bit of an example I want to. So let's go back. So it's not mythical and it's not factual either. It's both. It could fall on different spectrum based on this research I made. Studies have shown that women tend to exhibit higher levels of recipro- reciprocity, especially in situations where trust and cooperation are involved. So, if you don't trust me, I don't trust you. If you don't treat me right, I don't treat you right. So when a woman say how you do me, that's how I'm gonna do you back. Just know that we have higher level of that, and we are built to pay back. So whatever energy you're pouring out is the energy you're going to get back. So in your relationship, if your wife is treating you a certain way and is not interested in having any type of intimacy, that means your relationship or your marriage lacks intimacy. And it's not just coming from her. Because remember, we have a higher level of that behavior. So, however you treat me, I'll do you that way. Do me, I do you. Men, not go best. So, one study found that women are more likely to reciprocate in real effort tasks compared to men. So, real effort tasks like, what's a good example of that? I can't even think about a good example. So from this standpoint, we're looking at this on uh, on three different dimensions. So first, we're going to look at the physiological perspective. We'll look at the sociological perspective, and then we'll look at, based on the other one, traditional versus modern women and reciprocating, right? Also, we're going to talk about traditional and modern women, and then how individual varies. So we'll talk about that really quickly. I'm gonna jump into this real fast so that way we can be done quick- real quick. Okay. So right now we're looking at the physiological standpoint, right? Perspective. And we talk about physiological perspective is how people observe your physical behavior, like your behavior in general, how you act, how you do things and stuff like that. Okay. So we're looking at your behavior. You have to see it. Okay. So it said one study found that women are more likely to reciprocate in real effort tasks. So real effort side, if I think about real effort tasks, let's talk about cooking, right? If you were there for me and you cook for me, like how I'm wired, I'm feeling like if you're in similar situation, I want to give that back. So it's like the energy you release is the energy you get back. So I'm trying to see how I can do that. That's what we do. Another study shows that it's important to know that these behaviors are not solely determined by biological, but are also influenced by cultural norms and individuals' experiences. So, Dennis, if we come back, you saying that it's genetics, study is showing that no, it's not, because your behavior is affected by your community, like where you live, how things are being ran. Like, let's talk about Liberia. I'm always going to pick on Liberia because that's my home and that's where I'm born. My biblical core is buried there. So I can pick on Liberia at any time, right? So let's talk about Liberia, how people are not afraid of like just being untruthful. I don't want to pick on just Liberia. I know it's all around the world, but I'm picking on Liberia right now. We're going to use Liberia as a case study, right? A lot of people over there do not have the fear of people personal items, right? So for example, if I took $10,000 and out of nowhere I said, hey, I want you to go get me something. Here's this $10,000 cash. Not that I would ever do that, But this is an example, right? The fear of, or just having an integrity, right? Thinking to yourself and understanding that, hey, I have integrity. I'm not going to ruin my reputation. Nobody ever in that country really be thinking about that. All people be thinking about is she trusts me, she give me 1,000. She get plenty of money. Let me do this. Later I'll pay her. We have zero fear for other people items. Instead, if he went, or let's just say the person went to go purchase the item and didn't find it, instead of them bringing the whole money back, oh, she got plenty of money. If she can look at me and give me $1,000 to go buy something, that person have a lot of money. That is not yours. There is no fear. In the US, there's laws and regulations. So if I fell into an agreement and gave you money for an item and you don't provide it, you know I'm going to get my money back because there are steps that I can take to do that. But because we know that our country has zero law and order, like it would just get blown, that $10,000 just going thin air. So there is absolutely no fear for the other individual items. I hope that makes sense. You guys, I don't know if y'all can hear me, if my audio is good, but I'm trying here. I'm trying. So let's go back to the physiological. So it said it is important to know that these behaviors are not solely determined by biological, but are also influenced by culture. So the culture norm example that I just gave you, culturally, if I take it, we will sit down with family member and talk about it and say, oh, you know that brother, you'll try how to think. Why are you taking your brother to jail? Why are you taking your sister to jail? Why are you taking your cousin to jail? But they will fail to understand the purpose behind the actual. Somebody on this show one time asked and said, do you think Africans or Liberians, they're more forgiving than the modern world? Absolutely not. This because there is absolutely no consequences for any actions. So that's why it feels like people are more forgiving. So just add that on there. Okay. So we're running out of time. It's almost 9:30. Let's talk about the sociological perspective. The sociological perspective. The concept of reciprocity is deeply ingrained in human society, often considered a social law where gifts demand a return. I feel like this is like the bread and butter of modern of the West, the Western world. Like everybody automatically, like for Christmas, if somebody give you a gift, they're automatically waiting to see if you're going to reciprocate that. Meaning, if I bought you a shirt, oh wow, she didn't. You're automatically expecting someone to give you something when in reality they never ask you for it. You chose to do it. Why should this person pay back? But the receiving person feels obligated to do that. So let's define sociological perspective. As we define physiological perspective, it's all about your physical, what is going on, where you at, and what you're doing, right? A physiological perspective is a theoretical framework that guides how someone interprets human behavior. So how I'm acting, you can have your way of thinking about it. That's physiological perspective. Now, I want us to talk about sociological perspective. I kind of dive in there um, before we got started. I'm sorry. So there's a whole thing, and those of you who are who are social workers, you probably understand this a little bit more than I do. But the sociological perspective is also known as the sociological imagination. I love it. Is a way of viewing the world that emphasizes how social background shapes attitudes. Let me read that again. The sociological perspective, also known as the it's a tongue twister, sociological imagination, is also known as sociological imagination. So we all know what imagination means. It's all in your head and nothing is real. It's all in your head and nothing is real. If you're imagining it, if you're thinking about it to make it out of reality. It's not that it's already happened. Sometimes I take that back. Sometimes it could be reality that you're imagining, but you've already lived it. It's a slippery slope. Let's leave it right there. And so the sociological perspective, we've already looked at physiological. So physiological is how you interpret what my behavior is. I'm not telling you. I have my own perspective of what my behavior is, but you have another outlook of what I'm exhibiting. So we're going to look at sociological perspective, which I said is a way of viewing the world that emphasized sizing how social background shapes attitude, behaviors, and life opportunities. So your social behavior, it shifts that. And I absolutely agree. I agree. How you set yourself up, your social people you interact with, your circle you keep, it's a true reflection of your success. Just saying. Just saying. Pick wisely. Not all that glitters gold. Pick wisely. Okay. So now that we know about that, Now that we know about that, let's go back to our little thing we're giving out here. Okay. So the concept of reciprocity is deeply ingrained in human societies, often considered a social law where gifts demand a return. It is a social law, you guys. So is it just women are wired to reciprocate? The answer here is no, we're not only the one wired to reciprocate. Society have wired us to reciprocate, men or women. It's so interesting. Uh, Feminist perspectives highlight the the devolution, the devaluation, sorry guys, the devaluations of women's unpaid work and care, which although often take taken for granted, still reflects a form of reciprocal exchange. True. So asking for equal pay, equal this, equal that, a feminist, they're fighting for that, saying that if I'm gonna be taking care of kids and all that and doing this, I need to get something in return. And it is true. It's a lot. It really is a lot. So after thinking about this, are women wired to reciprocate? The answer is yes, every human being is wired to reciprocate, depending on your culture, depending where you're from, your attitude, your behavior, your social network. All of that is to determine what you reciprocate. And now we just learn that it is everyone. Women just happen to have a higher level of that. Some men, I feel like they're not wired like that, but it's okay. It's okay. So let's talk about traditional versus modern women reciprocity. So, as you can see, I am a modern woman, but I'm not your typical modern woman. I like to I like to tell myself that I'm a modern woman with a little side of traditional woman. That's a long topic. We'll get into that another time. But let's talk about this topic. So let's go to the traditional versus the modern woman. So the concept of reciprocity manifests differently in traditional and modern women due to shifting societal roles and expectations. Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There is a huge gap. Wait, let's go back to the topic. I said, let's discuss this concept. Compare and contrast both traditional. Wait, okay. So let's discuss that. So I'm gonna read that again. Now we've talked about the physiological perspective. We talk about the sociological perspective. Now we're talking about the traditional versus the modern woman reciprocity. Like, how is that? What's the difference? And yes, the concept of reciprocity, it manifests differently, as we can tell, as we can see, and we expect it to be that way. But how different is it, right? So it said, how you guys, I have to speed it up. I have to speed it up. Time is not since I'm um traditional women. First, we're gonna look at traditional women, how how they reciprocate. Okay, being that we're all wired and we have higher level of that per researcher. Now let's look at what is changing about it. Do we are we at a higher spectrum? When I'm talking about we, I'm talking about us modern women. Are we at a higher spectrum right now? Or was the traditional women at a higher spectrum? So let's dive into it. Let's see what they're talking about. Traditional women roles were often tied to domestic duties and childcare, and reciprocity was often seen in terms of maintaining family roles and stability. Yes, that was it. Now let's look at the other one. This includes reciprocal exchange within a family unit, such as providing care, supporting in return for security and provision. So the difference between modern women and traditional women when it comes to reciprocating, um, as we are wired to reciprocate whatever we're giving to give back or multiple of that, right? Let's look at it. So like I said, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the traditional woman. So as you can see, how they reciprocated their whatever they were reciprocating was based on family. So it was like, I'll do all these household things and I need security and for you to provide for me. That was it. That was the only deal for the men. I get to clean, I get to cook, I get to maintain the home, make sure everybody is safe and healthy, make sure if you're sick, I am the nurse at home taking care of everything. But all the man had to do, go to work, buy the stuff I need, and make sure I'm safe. That was it. So, so would you say, so let's hold that thought on that. So let that sink in a little bit. I'm gonna read it again. It said traditional women's roles were often tied to domestic duties and childcare, and reciprocity was often seen in terms of maintaining family roles and stability. So maintaining the man, making sure he's strong and safe and healthy to go and make money for the family, and making sure the children were also tend to their homework was done, things were getting done. That was it. And in order for all that, for doing all of that, all the traditional women got back was provide the items and make sure I don't get hurt or I'm sick. That was it. Can you imagine? Just think about what modern women nowadays, what the expectation is compared to. Can you only imagine what men are faced with right now compared to what they had before? Now it's all making sense to me. What most men always refer and say, yeah, well, Mother's Day were never like that. Well, guess what? We moved. We moved, we woke up, and we're here, we're live, and we're moving. We outside. Okay. So y'all get ready. Let's talk about modern women. Modern women prioritize emotional compatibility. Come on, we want the emotion. So modern women prioritize emotional compatibility, personal freedom, mutual respect in relationships. So we are wired differently. Back then, even though they wanted it, they didn't demand it. It was like do or die. Actually, that sounds scary. Lie. Don't take that for a grain of salt. Reciprocity in modern context can involve shared responsibilities, right? So now it's a little bit better, right? You help me, I help you. Instead of you come from work, I've dealt with the kids all day, and you sit on the couch and play on your phone while I'm still struggling, making dinner. Kids are crying all over the place, dealing with them, and you're saying what? Hmm? Hmm? So let's try to speed it up. Let's try to speed it up. Let's try to speed it up. So reciprocity in modern context can involve shared responsibility in both personal and professional life, as well as reciprocal support for career and personal growth. Is that hard to ask for? If you can't give me that, so would you say modern women are asking for more than traditional women ever asked for? The answer is no. I don't think so. I think as a human being, working together as a team and understanding does not take anybody titles away. You still keep your title. It's kind of like being a manager, a director, or whatsoever, right, at an organization. And the people that reports to you, because you feel like you're the higher up, you don't, they don't match with you. No, that don't work that way. You can still maintain that boundaries when it's time to do what you got to do. You do it, but also there needs to be some type of help there, collaboration, working as a team, working in partnership, understanding, hey, I got you, you got me. So you see, reciprocated, right? So it is important to emphasize that individual varies. So that brings us to our closing, right? But I have three other points to add here. They important to emphasize that individuals varies. So even though we might put this on a huge spectrum and say, yeah, modern women, not all modern women are asking for that, right? Not all traditional women were asking for that. We don't know. Maybe there was some traditional women who demanded that their husband assist as well. Who forcefully will take the kids to their husband and say, no, you're gonna help me out. Can you hold this child? Can you help me do the water? Can you help me do that? Everything is individualized, but overall, on the average, this is what we're talking about. Okay. Regardless of whether they identify as traditional mothering, will behave in the same way, and individual differences play a significant role in reciprocal behavior. So, just because women are wired to reciprocate doesn't mean that all women are wired to reciprocate, even though not because all women have higher level, as study has shown, not because all women have higher level of reciprocity does not. Hey, Anna, welcome.
Hi, let me go to a quiet environment.
Okay, I'm actually about to close.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Yeah, I mean, you can give a quick point, but I'm closing by 10 o'clock. Hello?
Yeah, I'm walking to a quiet environment, but if you're not
Okay.
gonna stay, then I should just sit and just listen. Oops.
No, you can say something. Hi.
Yes.
Hi.
See you
Hi.
guys. I'll be back.
He said hi. So, reciprocating behavior, as much as study have shown that women have higher level of that, that doesn't mean everybody is the same, right? That doesn't mean I want the same. Hey,
Okay, now I can hear. I didn't understand the topic, so can you kind of elaborate a little bit, and then I know I'm bringing you back so I can give
it's
my
okay.
opinion.
Sure. So the topic is actually around. I watched a video where a group of men were discussing that all women are wired to reciprocate whatever, basically, give back in full of what is given to them, or whatever, one other person had, where they were like, well, if you give your woman a bad marriage, you would get a
Mhm.
bad marriage, right?
Mhm.
if
Mhm.
you if you kind of from that standpoint.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to understand is, are all women wired that way? And throughout this entire thing, everybody is wired to reciprocate, right?
I think
But it's just
everybody is wired to be like that. It's just
right.
some people in particular, let's say women, since we're talking about
Right,
women,
have a higher level.
have your they have I think women tend to, like, especially in a relationship, women, if a woman likes you, should try to tolerate your bad behavior for as long as she can. But there's that one day where something would just, a knot would just turn over her head, and she would just give you whatever you've been giving her for the years. So women are built to be more resilient, to tolerate a
Right.
lot of things. But generally, when you treat a lady nicely, she treats you back nicely. So the being reciprocal for women is something that is higher than men. Men sometimes, if they're not into you, of course they'll treat you a certain way, even when you're doing your best to treat them nicely. There's respect. Respect is also something that women tend to have for a man that they like. And sometimes a man may respect you but may not reciprocate his behavior towards you, like how you treat him, just because he's wired to be like that. But women tend to have a higher rate of reciprocating, both positively and negatively, towards the opposite gender, depending on how they're treated. So I agree.
Yeah. And then also, absolutely. Also, study also shown that even though everybody have that, and before you came in, I was looking at the physiological perspective and the sociological perspective on that, and then also just comparing and contrasting, individuals like modern women and traditional women, right? Like their concept of being, what they needed back from their spouse in their relationship was a little bit different based on what the needs were at that time, and the
Mm-hmm.
culture and everything that was built around there,
Mm-hmm.
compared to modern women now. We have a little bit a different, is a little bit different. Our priorities have shifted a little bit. Not that
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same, but it's have shifted a great amount compared to how now we
Women that.
prioritize. Right. Now we prioritize our emotional compatibility. Like, if my mental is not right, you're not treating me right emotionally, why would I give you the same back,
Mm-hmm.
So compared
And I
to
and I
like,
think
hmm
and I think too is because back the traditional women, a lot of them were housewives, right? So they were
right,
wired and trained to be housewives, to be taught to learn to tolerate a lot of things that their husbands will do, because again, that was their source of income, that was their provider, that was the person that will be there to support them when they need him, but now women have opportunities to work. Women have the opportunity to still take care of kids, and have nannies and the rest. So they have the opportunity to do a whole lot more. There's exposure for women now than before. So a lot
right,
of times now the civilization has given women the opportunity to work, a lot of rights. that they didn't have before. So it limits. Now women are more women are not as limited as they were back then. So now society understands that women also have a choice to up and leave. They also have options rather than before that
Right.
they didn't have any at all. I think
Absolutely.
that's something to make
Yeah.
mention of.
I agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that actually falls into all of this. But then also we can also forget that individual varies, right? Because as much as I consider myself as modern women, as a modern woman, I also feel like I'm a little bit more traditional um compared to others. And there are probably quite a few modern women who are a little bit more traditional, and that kind of varies. So, just the statement that everybody just have this notion and concept that women are automatically just wired that way. Men are also wired that way. It's just women have a higher, a study have shown, women have a higher behavior of that. Like, and then, culture wise shifts that too. Like you just said, how and that really, as you were speaking, right, Anna, something I was thinking about, like, that's a topic we
Mm-hmm.
should discuss. Are we should women should mothers train their daughters to be wives? Is it happening right now? Like, you know how when we were growing up, right? We play with
Mm-hmm.
the little cup and play, how you play dolls and doll houses and stuff like that, right? I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of society. You're kind of training your daughter to be like, mom, be nurturing, sharing emotions and things like that, right? But as they reach certain age, as we were reaching certain age, we were encouraged to cook. We were encouraged to do these things, and you would hear statement from your parents or your mom. You think a man will want to marry that? Like not saying it to you like that, but what men's like and things like that. So automatically in your mind, as you're growing up, one day you'll be a wife, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now what I'm thinking is like, are the younger women these days really being trained to be wives? That's a
That's
topic
a
that I'm,
that's a topic that needs to be discussed further.
yeah. Yeah, that's what that no, I'm saying like that's something after this topic I really want to kind of like dive into because
Mm-hmm.
it is very interesting like the dynamic of women that are being created now. I mean being grown. I went to a high school graduation and I went back to my high school picture just to look at it and compare it to the high schooler. Oh my God.
They've grown. They look like women, not
I
girls.
was like, I was like, when I was even going for my prom, I looked like I was still a baby.
Mm-hmm.
But now
That's true.
compared to, and there's nothing wrong with that because I feel like it's all important because as generations change, a lot of things are changing. And I'm sure our parents would have thought the same too during our graduation and our
Mm-hmm.
prom and stuff. It's just very, very interesting how like things change along the way. But in this
Mm-hmm.
modern society, is way out there. But I just thought that was interesting.
It is.
Um, uh-huh. So just to add some important things to emphasize, I talk about individual vary, how individuals vary. Not all women, regardless of whether they identify as traditional or modern, will behave in the same way. And
Mm-hmm.
individuals' differences play a significant role in reciprocal behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just keeping some stuff in context, like environment, specific circumstances, interaction,
Mm-hmm.
significantly impact, how people reciprocate things. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I remember this past week when my car had issue, right? And I think I talked to you about it, right? The gentleman that
Mm-hmm.
picked me up, he was talking about. I think I briefly kind of told you about this. How he said are you're African and that whole dialogue. But anyways, long story short, to jump to what he said that really got me on this one, he was talking about how the whole dynamic with women change over, like, because he said you have family memory. I said, yeah, I know some Liberian in, this state that stay in there, like they're no longer African. And his perspective of how the environment has shifted them, even with
Mm-hmm.
him not being there, not knowing them. So I just thought that was very, very interesting that somebody can picture or vision you looking and acting differently based on where you're at and the reputation of that area compared to it was just interesting to me. Um
It's just crazy, but yeah, he shouldn't
yeah.
have done that. Hey, stop!
Yeah, he was
I
very
just fell
interesting.
off the
He's an
bed.
interesting guy. But then, just to conclude, because I have a paper to submit, that's why I was like, I need to be out of here in the next few minutes. But in conclusion, do you want to kind of like just kind of sum up something and leave it with the audience?
I definitely think it's important to reciprocate the energy that you get from people. Sometimes when girls, that's enough. I'm not on the phone. You guys can go play in your room. Go to your room. Go. No, go to your room. Or you stop noise. Thank you. Ariel, you're not listening. I said stop noise. I said I think it's very important for people to reciprocate the energy that they get. If someone
Hmm.
disrespects you, it's okay for you to disrespect them back. I know people say
You really think
if they go low, you go high. I don't believe in that. Sometimes people needs to be addressed the way they address you, because that's the
so?
only way. Some people, there's something that they say, the way you treat someone, when you may not know how you come off until that person treats you the same way, it kind of like it's a reality check for you, because if that person does the same thing, it will give you an opportunity to look at the way you're treating them. And also, I think
Mhm.
that sometimes if you have a spouse or a person that comes off to you a certain way, it's not every time that you have to respond back harshly or reciprocate the energy. Sometimes people may be going through something that requires them to take a step back. So
Mhm.
sometimes being supportive and offering a listening ear and being more supportive helps. But generally, if someone, you guys go to your room, get out now, get out. Go to your room because you're not listening. Go. Because sometimes when you try to give people the opportunity to be respectful and treat you well, they don't listen. Only when you snap and give them the same energy, it helps them see that they were wrong and they offended you, and it helps them come back to their reality. Like, okay, I shouldn't have treated this person this way. Another thing that I'll
Right.
say to my fellow women is that sometimes people have gone through a lot, and they may be used to being treated a certain way, but sometimes when someone treats you wrong, you give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't just jump into conclusion that this person is rude. Sometimes people have issues that they're going through, but I'm not using that as an excuse. But also, if you're in a relationship or you're in a marriage where the person used to be nice and then all of a sudden starts changing, you need to find out what's going on. What did you do wrong to determine if it's from your end that the person started behaving a certain way. And then also just having a dialogue, having communication with your partner. If someone is treating you badly, have communication, make efforts to uh, remediate the problem, Don't just
Right.
reciprocate bad energy because you're trying to give them back to back. If you're married, you're trying to make your marriage work. Being reciprocating bad energy will not be beneficial to your marriage. So it's best for you to be the doormat, listen to what the person has to say, give them time, while also making efforts to make them see reasons with you.
Gotcha. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. Absolutely. I mean, after that, my only thing is, I feel like it's difficult for some people to just, give the negative energy and they walk a bit. But I do see where you say sometimes, and the saying, how people say treat people how you want to be treated. But the actual thing, the actual statement is treat people how they want to be treated, right? So went for a training one time, and I learned that from the instructor that was giving that training, and he was saying something about customer service, like treat people how you want to be treated. So when he said no, 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 the correct is treat people how they want to be treated. So I kind of asked back, and it was like, there are patients that you can't treat it how they want to be treated, because how they treat you as well, right? Because it's really difficult. Like, I watch the nurses, it's so difficult for them. They go through a lot. They go through a lot of abuse and things like that. Somebody told a nurse this past week, told her, hope you die and all this stuff. But also just understanding the nature of their job. I know she was new and she started crying. But then in that sense, what I'm trying to say is, like, you can't treat that person how they're treating you, right? Because it's like you're there to help them. You're nurturing them. You've ignored it. And then there's like a constant thing every time you go in there. How does how does that even work? Like, you just start cussing them out. Like, you're gonna die. And literally they're in that situation, they will die if you're not giving them the proper care. So I guess it's picking your battle when you can treat people exactly the same way. Um, but to conclude from my end, it is 10 o'clock. Sorry. Oh my gosh, my fasting's about to suck. But let me try to close really quick. Let me give my conclusion. So to conclude, while there's no single biological wire that indicates reciprocity in women, research indicates that it is a significant factor in female behavior, shaped by both physiological and social influences. The expression of reciprocity may differ between traditional and modern women as societal expectation and genders roles continue to evolve. So basically, what that says is, so Dennis has stated that, to reciprocate more women is genetics, and I almost kind of agree in that. I actually did agree. I said yes, but study have shown no, it's not genetics. It's all from your physio and socio, you know, logical standpoint. How your behavior is observed, how your social life is observed and things like that, your culture. Um, female may have a higher, and in the modern world, everybody is expecting something once they gave you something. Just know that society wise, as they change and things like that, where you live, your environment, it all affect that. So to put this to bed, that I'm gonna go under that comment, that video I watched, that people solely believe only women reciprocates, you know, whatever is given to them. So I'm glad we had this conversation. I was very, very intrigued by that conversation, and I wanted us to talk about it. I'm glad we talked about it. I'm glad I looked into it and I learned a whole lot about me being a woman and a modern woman. So, no, it is not genetics, it's all behavior. Thank you so much for watching. I said I would leave by 10 o'clock, and here I am. We are closing. Tomorrow I will be here again by the grace of God. But next week, like I said, my schedule is super, super tight. I will not be here at all next week. Sorry. And then we should be good after next week. We should be good for all the other weekend until the ending of it. As you guys all know, every year I take my kids somewhere. So this year, wherever the road leads up, that's where we're going. Towards the end of July, I gotta take them out before school start. It's a big year for us because Shiloh is officially kindergartner. So that is so hard to say. That is so hard to say. I can't believe it. He's already a big boy. So yeah, doing a lot of mommy's things and stuff like that. Towards the end of July. But you'll see me. I'm here. I'm here until the end of July. Around the 24th, going into the end of that month, I will not be around. You guys bear with me until we get off of this little roller coaster schedule. And then we'll be back to normal. Thank you so much, Dennis. Thank you to whoever is watching. Thank you, Anna, for jumping on real quick. I know it's not easy. The schedule is really crazy these days, but you made it on. Thank you, and thank you to our viewer. Even if you watch this and you have something to add, don't forget, add it, share, give us your thought process on this. If you can watch, watch. But I am shipping out of here. Gotta go. Sorry, thank you. Anna, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, just thanking the viewers for continuing to watch and continue to support the show. Also, I have joined TikTok, so I'm going to be looking for content when I get down to see Felicia. We'll start doing content together. So hopefully, you guys can support the show,
Yeah.
support my TikTok,
You
and
guys, she's coming down officially.
yeah. So, Mom, why won't you let me see? And yeah, so you guys will see more contents and support your
Right.
girl.
Yes, yes, yes. Share your TikTok the thing on the platform so that way we can promote it. And
I
I
will.
TikTok too. We can do TikTok live together too. I'm trying to see how we can go live on TikTok on here. Like to
All
add
right.
it so we go live while we're live here as well.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure
Sounds
that out
good.
right now. Yeah,
No
that way
problem.
if and then when you come back, we can add you to the StreamYard account. So when we're live, you'll still be live on your page as well.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're
All
welcome.
right,
Thank
guys.
you,
Thank you, and
guys.
continue to share topics that you would like to hear more about.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Ah,
what
look
type
at
of
you on
content you like
TikTok.
to hear. I have to figure out my niche first. Whatever I'm good at. I don't know what I'm good at yet.
You're good at dancing.
I don't know if I want to be dancing for the world. I don't know.
I know, right? Well,
We'll
you could
see.
create content with the girls.
I don't know if I want them to be on social media.
You don't have to put them on there. Like just when you're teaching, you can. I'll show you how to do it. Like
Okay.
you can, like while you're teaching them, like we'll discuss that. Oh, we'll
Okay.
discuss it. Yeah, we'll come up with something. You don't got to
Yeah.
put them on, but you can put them where you're showing it. And you can later upload the video where you cut. It's a lot of editing. That's why I started coming live. It's a lot of editing,
Okay.
but you can do it.
Okay.
All right, guys. Y'all have a
Okay.
blessed day, week, night, wherever you're at. Enjoy the weekend. And I joined a new business venture. I will share with you and I off of here when I'm done. I have an assignment to submit, but I will call
Okay.
you tomorrow.
All right. I'll be waiting for your
Um,
call.
all right.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. You guys have a good night. Say hi
You
to the
too.
kids and everyone.